The Red Sox, everybody, are 6-0 all-time in Game 6 of the ALCS. If they do not make it 7-0 this evening, their season is over because Houston has them against the ropes. And DraftKings contributor Steve Buchanan, a Red Sox fan, and Rotowire's Erik Halterman are here to share their approach to this showdown. Steven, who is your captain for this contest?
Yeah, this is a tough matchup here because obviously the stock couldn't be lower on Nathan Eovaldi, who had that really rough inning a couple of games ago. But if that call was gone correctly, maybe things look different. I'm avoiding both pitchers in this one, so I'm going to be going with Kyle Schwarber as my captain in this one. Luis Garcia has really struggled against lefties, most specifically this year. You look at his numbers this year against them. 4.55 FIP, 348 WOBA, 13 of the 19 home runs that he's allowed. This has been a struggle spot for him, and Schwarber probably back at the top of the lineup here tonight, collecting at least 5 at-bats in this game. Good chance for him to park one potentially in this game, so I think he's a good, viable captain option for tonight.
Okay, how about you, Erik?
Well, the default captain choice for any showdown contest is going to be a starting pitcher, but I'm with Steve here, and that I'm just pretty scared of both of them. Eovaldi coming off that poor relief appearance. We saw what that did to Julio Urias when he had a pretty similar setup, got knocked around in relief, came back 3 days later and had quite a poor start. So I'm scared of him, and I'm quite scared of Luis Garcia, as we might get into a bit later. So I think the game plan here is to just try to get in all the homers you can. And I think the easiest way to do that is to roster the cheapest guys who might homer as your captain. I think the cheapest big bat for the Astros, if you're building an Astros-based lineup, will be Carlos Correa. If you're building a Red Sox-based lineup, it would be Xander Bogaerts. I think one of those two guys, Correa's even cheaper at 11,100 as a captain. So he's maybe my slightly preferred option because, again, the game plan here is, can I get all of the home runs that happen tonight, and there are likely to be a few. There are in many of these playoff games. Can I get all of them into my lineup, and then I have a good chance at winning?
Erik, how about some value, dude?
Yeah, again, because the goal is to get as many of those top hitters as we can, we need to go all the way to the bottom. Christian Arroyo is a guy I've mentioned throughout this series. He costs the absolute minimum at 4,000. He will play. He is a real hitter, 106 WRC plus on the regular season. Nothing exciting, but he'll be in your lineup. He'll save you as much money as possible. He might get a couple points. And on the Astros side, Chas McCormick will probably be the center fielder. He costs only 400 more than the minimum. He had a 109 WRC plus in the regular season. So those two guys, I think you almost have to get in there so you can get as many of the big bats as possible.
Steven, save us some cash, dude.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Alex Verdugo in this spot. Like I mentioned here, Luis Garcia has really struggled against lefties. And, Verdugo's gone 0 for 6 over his last 2 games. But with that said, he collected at least 1 hit in every playoff game since then. He's only, when you get him in the utility spot, he's only going to cost you $7,000, which is on the cheaper end because some of these guys are very expensive here. Probably hitting 6th in the lineup tonight, too. So probably won't be overly popular when it comes to ownership. But this is somebody who's done very well in the playoffs, except for the last 2 games. And really, quite frankly, that's been the story for the whole Red Sox offense. But at $7K for somebody who has the ability to get on base, maybe even get an extra base hit, I think he's a pretty good value tonight.
All right, what about someone you're totally fading, Bukes?
Yeah, I'm going to be going with Kike Hernandez at this rate. He's still priced very, very high. He's been basically the reason why the Red Sox have gotten as far as they has, but he's been cooling off. I mean, he's now 0 for his last 13. He's only collected a couple hits in his last few games, but he's just so overpriced for his role on this team. Like, yes, he's been a hero for this team, but this is not somebody who gets on base consistently. So getting him at this price, you're getting him at really the ceiling price at this point. So he's someone I'm fading. I'd much rather go with someone like Rafi Devers, who's just a little bit more if I'm paying up that much for a hitter.
Okay, Erik, how about you, dude?
Yeah, Steve's absolutely right there. Hernandez being the second most expensive hitter, there's just no way he's the second most talented hitter in these 2 games, even if he's been hot lately. So that's definitely correct. But I think I'm even more scared of both starting pitchers. Like I mentioned earlier, Luis Garcia, 3 straight bad starts. He closed the regular season with 6 earned runs in 5 innings. His start in the ALDS saw him give up 5 earned runs in 2 2/3, and his start in Game 2 of the ALCS saw him give up, again, 5 earned runs in just 1 inning, and then he left with a knee issue. He's a talented pitcher, but that's about as bad of a run as you can have coming in. I don't think he's going to get many innings at all. And Eovaldi on the other side has been quite good for much of the playoffs, although, again, coming off that relief appearance, I don't think they're going to let him go all that deep in a must-win game here. I think if he's at all shaky, he's gone after about 4 innings.
Let's switch real quick here to the DK Sportsbook, gentlemen. Give me your favorite bet for Game 6 of the ALCS tonight, Erik.
We're going to see runs. I've been saying it all series, and it's been true. The overs just set at 9 runs. These two teams have hit that over in 4 of the 5 games this series, and in the lone game where they didn't, they got exactly 9. And if you look back at the ALDS, both teams were involved in games that scored more than 9 runs in 3 of the 4 games in their ALDS matchup. So that's combined 10 out of 13 playoff games that one or both of these teams has been involved in, has hit at least 10 runs. These are two teams, we knew it going in. They're very offense-heavy teams. The series has played out exactly that way. I'd expect it to continue to do so here, given, again, especially how shaky Garcia is, but a bit of shakiness with Eovaldi as well.
What about you, Steve? What's your favorite bet for tonight?
Yeah, taking Luis Garcia to go over 3.5 hits allowed at -135. This is someone who, like we said, has struggled all throughout the playoffs. And you say all throughout the playoffs, they're talking about 3 2/3 innings, but he's given up 10 runs on 7 hits in that span. Like, I think he's going to be out of this game early. And if he's out of this game early, it's likely because he got hit hard. So if that's the case, 3.5 hits just feels like a really low number at 135. A little bit of juice on that for sure. Oh, and look, it's gone up to 140. So people love it. People absolutely love it. They're already going on there and betting the over, as they should be. But over 3.5 runs for Luis Garcia tonight. I think he's out of this game early, and there's a big reason why, because he's given up a bunch of hits.